Alright, so today we're going to resume the videotaping stuff. I've gotten kind of out of it lately, I don't know why, but today I just finished, you can't see it, it's over there behind the camera, but I just finished drilling all of the holes in my workbench, finally after 8 years, for dog holes, you know, and hold fast and things like that. But I don't have any dogs, so I figured I'd make some. I got some aluminum here, and I figure if I turn down some aluminum to 3/4 inch diameter and leave a top that's taller or wider in diameter, larger in diameter, I can just drop it in, and that's my stop against which I can clamp or plane or whatever. And I'll make various thicknesses of crowns, I think. But I was going through my aluminum stock. I have a few things. Some of this larger stuff, and then some, you know, progressively smaller. But the lengths I've got here are close, but I just took a quick measurement, and this dirty one is about 935, and this piece here is about 101-ish. Ooh, it's not round. 105 here, and about 101 there. So it's about an inch and such. But 940 and 1 inch, I suppose they'd be fine if I used them both. But I'm going to start with the 1 inch one for now. And if the concept works, we'll make more, maybe out of this, maybe out of the thicker stuff. So we're basically going to take a small chunk of this. I'm going to cut it off, you know, maybe 2 inches long. Somewhere like there. So there's about about like that. So we can get at least 3, maybe 4 out of this. Yeah, we can get 4 out of this. It's over 8 inches long. So first thing we'll do is we'll go to the bandsaw and we'll lop off little slugs. The only reason we're doing that is because my chuck in my lathe, you can see over there my little mini lathe, the through hole is too big or too small for this stuff. This is too big for that hole, so I have to turn it outboard or out of the chuck. So I need it short enough, otherwise I have to get the tailstock and center drill and do all that stuff. So hopefully what we'll basically do is we'll just turn down a section to 3/4, flip it around in the chuck, and then mill off whatever the face off whatever the, you know, the head thickness I want to use. I think I'm going to do a pair. I'll do 2 at 1/4 and 2 at 1/2, and then we'll see if I need any more than that. And then I'll probably, on the circle, I'll probably cut a flat or grind or sand a flat. So that'll be like the registration. And then I'll tip it back, you know, about 10 degrees. So anyway, let's get started. Alright, so we're going to do a really highly precise method of marking here called my thumb and a Sharpie. It should be plenty precise, we'll see. So I'm going to go basically about 2 inches for each. I really only need about an inch, inch and a half to go into the bench. So it's not like it's a super critical dimension. So we'll just go somewhere in the 2 inch range for each. And I'm going to grab my tape. It's easier. So I'm going to use that. Go here for the 6. And then that'll buy us about enough to get 4 or so about. And now we've got our piece marked for the 3 cuts we'll make, and it's over to the bandsaw. Okay, so now we're at the bandsaw. We're going to make our super precise alignment nicks with our Sharpie. Line it up roughly here. I'm kind of heading a little bit oversized because the blank is about an 8 3/8 or so. So I've got some wiggle room. And then just make that cut. That's all there is left here. It's barely in the vise, but I just cut this other piece off, right? Put it down over here, and there's your other way to hold that. That's how you can hold your, I'm sure it's old hat to most of the people out there that know what they're doing, but I thought I was clever when I first thought of it. Alright, well, hopefully this is a reasonable enough camera angle for you. Do please pay no attention to my messy lathe. I don't turn that often, and I'm sure this probably makes the real machinists cringe. Bringing my garbage can over here because now I'm self-conscious, but the real machinists, you know, they take better care than I probably do, and I probably shouldn't even be grabbing it. These are just aluminum shavings, and I'm not gripping them. But anyway, so we've got our 4 bits. You can't see how I have those aligned here, but you'll see here in a moment. Bear with me. So I've just got my, well, now we're gonna leave this here. So I've got my pieces, you know, just these little guys. Little slugs. My bandsaw cuts a little bit off square, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw them in there and chuck them until they're kind of concentric and face off one end, and then I can spin it around and put it into the chuck. What I basically want to do, I'll give you an idea of what we're shooting for, is we're going to for, you know, for most of this length, we will turn it down to 3/4, and then at this end, or at an end, we'll leave a head on it that is this diameter. Maybe clean it up a little bit. I haven't decided if I want to knurl it or not. Probably not. We'll see. But basically, we're gonna, you know, have a basic T-shaped sort of flanged type of thing going on, and then the thickness of this flange will be what actually holds the wood when you clamp it on in the vise. It'll be obvious when I finish one. But for the majority of this length, we're going to be turning down to 3/4. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to face an end, flip it around, put it in the chuck, and then I'm going to turn as much as I can in the chuck down. So you know what I think I will do instead. No, I think I like that. We'll turn this length down to 3/4, then we'll flip it back around, grab that with the chuck, and then turn the head down to our desired whatever head thickness we want, and maybe clean this outer edge up just a little bit. So that is what the plan is anyways. We'll see. So let's get one chucked up and see what happens. It's just a little 7 by 14 or 12, 7 by 12 mini lathe from Grizzly that's pretty small. It's not, you know, it's not a Monarch or a Robust or a, you know, one of the big Clausings or anything like that. It's just a little tiny mini lathe, humble thing. You know, I'm not Keith Fenner, and I'm not Tom Lipton and Abom and all those guys, but I sure have been watching their videos a lot, and they kind of inspire my process. And you know, I got this little ding here, so I want to make sure I don't. That's leftover. You know, you probably can't see it, but that's left over from the bandsaw cut, so I want to make sure that's not engaged in a jaw and it's not bottoming out too much on the end of the chuck. What I'm basically trying to do is put it in there so it seats nice, give it a little turn so it'll seat nice, and then spin it and see how off we are, concentric we are. Just give this a little check, and that's pretty good. I got that one pretty good. You see the shiny spot there? It's not too far off. That's going to be plenty good for my needs. what we'll do is we'll face this end so that it can seat against the chuck nice. Actually, no, we're going to leave what we've got sticking out. I'm just going to turn down what I can. So long as I have a minimum, and I'm going to probably set a, pick a set. I think that one's one of my smaller, shortest ones. Yeah, that's the shortest one anyways. So what we'll do is we'll choose a distance here. And I'm just referencing off the face of this chuck jaw. The most I could get out of it is 1/310, so 1 inch 310 thou. We're going to go with 1 1/4 inch. Should be plenty. So 1250. That's what we're shooting out for. This will be our turned enough dummy sort of gauge here. So 1250 should be enough to seat down inside of the bench and act as the dog. So we're going to shoot for 125, but actually what we're going to end up with is going to be whatever happens when I face this. So let's face it first, and then we'll decide what we're going to do. So I'm going to tip that a little bit for facing, turn off the power feed for now. And one of the things about these mini lathes is they're loose. There's a lot of looseness in them. So what you do is you kind of work out strategies, and so far, or at least what I've done, is I've worked out some strategies. First thing is I like to try to get the turning action to happen as much over the top of the compound as possible, rather than out further, closer, rather than that direction. Closer this way we can get to be on top of this big old beefy plate is better. It makes it much more rigid. And I just recently snugged all the gibs up. The jibs or gibs, guys, I don't know. Jibs, I say jibs. But I've heard others say gibs, so we'll see if I'm right or wrong. The internet will tell me, right? So what I'm going to do is, like the old guys do, I'm going to touch off. And I think I got very close. I'm going to lock my cross slide, or I'm going to lock my carriage. This is carriage, cross slide. Okay, carriage to the lead screw, and then pop it over so that it's got all the push against it as possible, as much as I can. Then I'm going to bring this back. Then we zero. Okay, so that's zero. There's obviously a lot to take off here. So we're locked down, we're solid. I'm going to back you up a little, and now we're going to come in and we're going to take probably 20 thou. This is a pretty interrupted cut. Take another 20. And that should take care of it. Still pretty interrupted, pretty jerky. I can feel how jerky it is. Spring cut back on the return pass. Not bad. Take another 5. That's a smooth cut. Then, what I usually do to get a nice clean surface is crank up that speed for another 2 or 3. Feed nice and smooth. Or attempt to feed nice and smooth. Just the tiniest little cut. Turn back. Turn it down. Get rid of that little crud. And now that face, got a little nib down there, so I'm not quite on center. Let's fix that. So am I a little high? I'm a little bit high. So I learned from the Fenner and the Lipton's, those guys, they don't seem to tighten down this adjusting nut. So there's on your quick change tool post, you've got this thumb screw. You got this thumb screw. Well, of course I'm going to be a liar about everything I say here. Here we go. So you got your thumb screw here, and it bottoms out on this. It bottoms out on this area, right? Then this nut is supposed to set that. But what I've seen is these guys tend to not tighten that nut and they just adjust for center a lot. I think it's because they change out tools so frequently, and adjusting for center is not that difficult. So what I just did is I lowered it just a little bit, and then I check it. That feels perfect, actually. Yeah, that's about right. So we're going to take another quick cleanup pass and make sure. Take another 2 or 3 thou. That's a lot better. The nub is much tinier. Okay, so that is now our clean surface. Now we can see how much can we get out of this without too much trouble. We can get 1308. We can go 1 inch 300 thousandths if we wanted to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go 1 inch 250. I don't have, so the downside is on this lathe yet. I don't have it yet. Usually on the end of the lead screw over here, there'll be a dial that tells you how far you've gone. I don't have that yet. I'm going to make that one day. So what we're going to do is I'm going to diameter turn until I get close to the chuck and stop. So the first thing I'm going to do is power feed. And then the next thing we'll do is we'll disengage the power, the half nut, and move it over, and we'll try to register our 0 here. And we need to, so one of the downsides of my inexperience is the front edge of this is not quite set for diameter turning. It's better for facing, but not for diameter turning. So turn it so we lead a little bit forward on that. Now we can shoot for 0. Back off, and I'm going to go in. I want to go to 750 thou. You won't be able to see. Here, let's see. Can you see that? And we are at 1,003, 2 thou. You see there? Okay, so we've got a ways to go. So we're going to do this probably fairly quickly because I can do that in aluminum nicely. And these little carbide, this is just one of those. I'll show you one like it. This one's tilted, but this is just one of those brazed carbide tooling. Yeah, I think that's a 3/8. Yeah, I think that's a 3/8. Maybe it's a 5/16. Not sure. But it's just brazed carbide on it, and it seems to cut pretty well for me. I've also got, I've got this carbide insert tooling that camera cannot focus on very well, but I use that too, but those are more expensive than this. This was free, so I'll take it for now. So what we'll do is we'll engage our power feed. We're going to take 20 at a time, probably. That's 40 off each diameter. Feed it. Fluid, but it'll do. It's pretty thick stuff, actually. So, there we go. new nickname, never used it before. So we're now at 9:30. Doesn't make sense, does it? Yeah, we're at 9:30. Let's do another 20. Do another 25. That. So 110, 210, 1 inch 210 for now. What I'll do is I'll end up facing that nice later after we get to diameter. We're at 880 now. We took 50 out. So we'll do another 50, which will put us at 830. We were at 25, so let's go 15, 25. I suspect if I threw a chip breaker on the front of that carbide, it might pop these chips off a little bit. The aluminum seems to always just be stringy. Now we should be at about 8:30, and sure enough we are, huh? 8:30. So another we need to go to 750 is what we're after, maybe a little bit smaller. So 750, we're at 8:30. If we do another 50, we'll be at 780. Yeah, let's do another that. So we were at 10 there, right? That 10. So we'll do another 25, 10, 25. I got goo all over my crank here, my wheel, my hand wheel. Another 50 to get us close to 780 if we can. Facing there just to get that edge up nice and friendly, and I think 1 inch is really nice for the flange diameter, and we are now at 780. I give you, not bad. I give you 780. Anyway, we need 30 thou to go here, so that means 15 off. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 10 and skim that cut. So we are, lost my zero a little bit here. Find that zero. And what we'll do is we'll take 10, sneak up on it, and then we'll do another 5 thou, clean so to make it right on. Real fast to make sure we're at where we think we are at. We're at 757, 58, 758, 760-ish. So what we'll do is we'll come in another real quick light pass, and we were at 10 there, so we'll come into about 14. Now we should be very close. How's that for very close? 749? I think we can call that pretty dang close. And so I've got a 3/4 inch hole around here somewhere. We can test. This is one of my test cuts for the router jig. That'll work. So it drops in. Now, all we have to do is make a chamfer here. Do that with one of these, and spin it this way. I tend to like, well, I guess I tend to like better than 60. I like 45, but I don't have anything set at 45 right now, and it's easier to just tip this to something. It's not like it's a precision op. Give it a good chamfer because I want it to be, I want it to easily just drop right into that slot. Now, up here, since I've been facing, I'm pretty confident in that, and I'm going to chamfer the, bench as well. We are now at 1240. I think I would like to go at least 1250. I know it sounds niggling, but it's not. We will put this in, preferably at a good facing angle. Why don't we use this little guy here instead? Down in there nice. It's got a little bit sharper point. So let's pop back just a hair, come in. Let's pick up 0 here. I should have picked up 0 again. Set 0. This dimension, the length of this is not critical at all. It just needs to be kind of pretty. And then what we're going to do is I've got to chamfer that, right? So what I think I'll do is, I don't think this thing can get down in there. No way. Not without slapping into those jaws. could do is I gotta put a chamfer on that thing. What if we do that? Can we get at it with a boring tool? Not very well. Okay. Well, that isn't gonna work. You guys get to watch me fumble through this because I don't know of an easier way to chamfer that little point. And what if we just fake it? How about if we just fake it? Wanna fake it? Let's fake it. Let's fake it like this. Let's grab it. This will be a not real chamfer. This will be a attempting to move both directions. Not really a chamfer, but yeah, it's kind of a mess. See if I can't do a better job of that on the flip, with it flipped around. So now we're a little bit messy here, so we're going to take some. I'm going to take a little bit of alcohol. Scrub that up. Just to make it nice and clean. That's a lot cleaner. And now we'll flip it around. Actually, we're going to do all of these ops. So there's your basic start, right? This will be the piece that I'll turn down to a thickness that clears wood mostly. So we're in with our second part. We're going to face it off and repeat what we just did a second ago. Okay, so we've got 4 little guys here. These are, they're all very different sizes, but they're for me, so if it were a customer or somebody paying, I'd make more effort to make them the same size, but for me, that's fine. What we're doing now is we're going to turn one around in the chuck. And we're still a little bit big for this, through hole, so we're going to be out a bit, which is no big deal. But that actually helps because now I can actually do a good chamfer on this shoulder too. So we'll just give it a good cinching down. Make sure we are pretty well concentric. Let's go over here and double check our concentricity. We are really good. That's pretty good. I can't complain. Alright, so we're going to knock the power feed off, and then find 0, bring it back, pull off, say 20 of that, a little bit of loop, cut. We're going to do like another 5 thou, speed it way up. I want these nice because these are the show size. But, so now we've got, what do we have for the thickness here? We have a 6, not even quite 6. We have 580, 575. We're going to go for 5 on you. Actually, which ones have the most to take off? Yeah, we'll do a half. We'll do a half on this. That way if I mess up, I can always take off more. So 575, you say? So we need to take another 25, so let's take 10. Another 20. Got a lot of shit down there I gotta take care of here. I'm a little bit low on my center line as well. Let's get rid of some of this debris. Knock our center line down just a hair more. Let's do a measurement while we're sitting here. 60, 560. So let's do a little more. Another 7 or 8. That was a lot more than 7 or 8. Way low. God dang. There. I think we came out well under ½ inch now, though. No, we're at 540 yet. We are at 540 thou. We have a long way to go. 540. I was going for 550 for whatever unknown reason. Okay, there's 0. So we're at 540. Let's take 10. Let's take 15. If I really push it, we can be at 15. 515. Still a little hot. Now, we are very close. I'm going to go just a hair under it because I plan on. And we are going to take a little bit off of this face, off of this surface. Okay, so we're just going to keep on pumping them out here. Okay, so that was 4 of them. So we've got 2 that have 1/4 inch heads. I knurled one. I'm going to see if knurling actually does me any good. I'm not sure. I'm skeptical there. And this one's just smooth, and we'll see how it does as well. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a flat across the face of one of these, of each of these. I'll probably just do that over at the belt sander, and I'll meet you guys over there. Oh, here's my other 2. My other 2 are 1/2 inch. One's quite a bit longer than the other. I don't know if that'll matter. We'll see. We'll experiment. One's a good 1/4 inch longer than the other. We'll see how that does. We're done at the lathe, and I'll see you guys at the belt sander. Okay, so we're over at the belt sander now, and I have my things here, my dogs. I've got my very high precision fence going on here. This is about a little over a 1/16, and it's about perfect for this shoulder size. So what I've got is I've got it clamped at an angle here, and what I'll just do is I'll bring it in and touch it, and I'll go until I reach what I find to be a favorable spot. It's not very precise. I may come up with a more precise method at some point, but for now this will do. So I'm going to say that doesn't work real well. It's not very uniform. It's hard to control. It's aluminum and it gets hot fast, so my fingers are already getting already fairly hot. So we're going to scrap this idea, and I've already dinged my shank just a little bit. Not a huge problem, won't be a functional thing, but I'm going to find a better way. Okay, so this is definitely a case of if you have the tools, use them, I guess. So what I've got here is I'm over on my CNC router that I built, and I've got my screwless vise in on the table, and I've got my sample, my first try with the sander in there, sitting in that vise. There's a notch on this side that will center it and hold a round item. And then I put my dovetail bit. This is a long dovetail bit. It's a very shallow angle dovetail bit. So I'm just going to go after it with this, driving it manually until I achieve either the desired results or an education. So we'll try to get things positioned here and see what happens. So be sure to read and understand and follow all of the information that came with your power tools. If you built your power tool, use your head. I would say that isn't half bad. I think I can live with that. I think that'll work fine. let's pull that one out. Let's have a gander out of here. I'm going to take a look first because it's mine. Yeah. So let's see if I can't get a little bit more. Sure would be nice if I had a way to show you this better, but so see that there? There's the angle right there. There's a little bit left over from when I was sanding, but I think that looks pretty dang neat actually. Not too bad. Let's see if we can do that again without hurting ourselves. Alright, so, well, first glimpse of the bench, sort of after, well, it's not done yet. You see all the scribbles and stuff on here. I still need to flatten it. All the scribbles are where it was not safe to drill these dog holes. But already you can see how useful this is going to be. That'll be beautiful, right? That'll work good. The first thing I want to do though is, before I get used to them, or get to using them, is I want to file off at least this edge. It's pretty rough. Pretty sharp, I should say. And I'm just going to grab a scrap of sandpaper from over here, set it down, and I'm just going to give it a little chamfer. Pretty basic. There you are. And that's about as much energy as it needs, right? Pretty good there. My holes are just a hair over 3/4, which is good. That's helpful. But you can see it even goes in the vice jaw. I think I may actually enjoy. Let's try one that's not knurled here. No, I don't really notice the difference, so maybe I won't bother knurling. If I get into making these for other people, you may want them knurled. You can let me know. I'll knurl them for you. The only reason I'm not in favor, is it's a pain in the ass to knurl. And I don't think it adds a ton of value to us. Yeah, I can pick them up. Even the 1/4-inch one picks up just fine. I was worried that it'd be tough to pick up and pull out of the gap, but it seems to be just fine. So here's the thing. The little dovetail notch on the 1/4-inch one looks to be like it's going to be more useful than on the 1/2-inch one. Notice how much smaller so this flat here. See how much wider the flat is? Because you're down lower, so the flat's going to be wider. I might find that to be more interesting, more effective on the 1/4s. Now on the halves, I could just come in deeper, and just leave a small shelf there. I don't know if that'll affect anything. Maybe I'll leave the shelf low so that it's guaranteed not to snag on top of the surface of the table. I'm going to let experience drive that decision and make use of these things before I decide one way or the other. But get this little chamfer in here. And I suppose you're going to want me to put a board in and make use of it, huh? Yeah, I suppose I should, eh? The deburr, and one more deburring. I will say the chamfer looks neat, but, or not the chamfer, the knurling kind of looks neat, but I don't know that it's effective as a feature. So I think I'm going to leave them off. I can pick them up just fine, even covered in sawdust. They aren't difficult. They're not heavy, so they're not in very tight. They don't need to be. So let's give this game a whirl here. So there's your well, I still need to make a handle for this one. So we're gonna do it with this one over here. All right. So we'll put one in there. Put one in here. Line up my flat if I want to, and send it on home. There you are. That is definitely not going to go anywhere. You could move it around, of course, but that's pretty good. I like this. It's on the protect. So you'll see a mark there where it grabbed. Same here, where it grabbed. You don't want the mark, I would suspect. Spin it around. Just a round dog instead. Still gonna leave a little mark. It does lift though. So the bevel is useful. Yeah, it definitely lifts up. I don't know if you can see here, it definitely raised up about 32nd of an inch. So, the bevel was a good thing, but that holds really well. And alright, let's see how the quarters do. 1/4 inch. Very little lifting. It's up here because of the vice jobs. Low. A little bit of lifting on that, but it is 1/4 inch, so it's barely gripping it. Plus this job might not help, but that isn't going to go anywhere. Not bad for an afternoon though. So ignore these. These were my indexing apparatus for the dog holes. So I was drilling these by put one pin here and put one pin, I think it was this one, and that lines it up so that the next set of holes, and then you leapfrog on the previously drilled and you put them in, and that lines up for the next set of holes. And you can see I had to make a few patches, because when you yank a plunge router up and the bit sticks out quite a lot, it'll mangle. But got the job done, and it only needed to live long enough to do that. So there's 14 holes per row. There's 6 rows, minus one and minus another in this row, because there's a bolt over here that you can't drill into. So it's 14 times 6 minus 2 plus 9 for the dog for the holes in the vice chops. So 91 holes. But I think I like these. I think these will come in handy. You know what I'd like? Some 1-inch brass. So somebody buy some 1-inch brass and I'll make them a set and make myself a set. I think the brass would look really nice. And I think that's pretty damn bitchin', is what I think. There you are. Thanks for watching.